I don't think I've ever been in this mall this early. There's no one else around, and I'm finally doing it. This is Souk Al Bahar. I'm going to Dubai Mall, just down there, to switch to iPhone. That's it. I'm switching to Apple. I've been on Android for the past, I don't know how many years. The last iPhone I had was the iPhone 6S. Great phone. Bend gate, I know, but great phone. But the last Android I had was this, the Nothing Phone 3. And before I switch out, I want to talk about the Nothing Phone 3 to see if it still holds up today. This was sent to me by Nothing. I get to keep it. But at the launch, it was $800. Now you can get it for sort of under $500. Question is it now a buy? Spoilers, at $800, it was not a buy. And I'm going to tell you why right now. But even at $500, it's not an immediate buy. So first things first, hand feel. Hand feel is really, really important. And this thing is a bit of a cow. Not only is it a 6.7-inch display, which is big, it's also 218 grams, which is heavy. And it's got sharp edges, not rounded edges, which does not do it any favors. When I hold it like so, it's not the greatest hand feel, but when I hold it like so to watch content, oh my god, this really doesn't feel great. I think they could have gone with sort of more rounded corners. I think they should have made it a little bit lighter, because both the Nothing Phone 2A and the 3A, I remember absolutely loving the hand feel on those because they were just lighter. That's all it is. They're the same size, they're the same shape more or less, just lighter. That makes such a difference. And for people, wondering about 50-50 weight distribution, this one has pretty much 50-50 weight distribution as well. That's not the point. It's just a combination of being heavy, having sharp corners, all that. And if you're spending $800, how it feels in the hand is important, unless you just want a big screen, which a lot of people do. Which brings me to the user experience, and that is pretty darn important. Nothing prides itself on things like design focus and user experience focus, and yet it's a bit of a mixed bag. Now, I love the always on display. I think it's great. I think it's polished. I love the Essential Space widget. I use it to, set up chores and reminders all the time. I've got a couple of time zones because I travel a lot. It's great. But I do wish they had allowed support for more widgets on there because it's really, really quite limited. But the real problem is when I open the phone. So you go from a home screen that looks like this, which is great. It's nice and neat. It's got that Nothing design language. And the moment I go into a dialer, it looks like this. And well, basically that's not the Nothing experience. That is a Pixel experience. It's a completely different design language. Well, not completely different, but it's different enough that it's jarring and is really annoying. I bought this for the Nothing design language, and the Nothing design language does not pervasively exist across the user interface. That, to me, if that's your selling point, you really, really should take more care of that. Every time someone gives me a call, it feels like I'm using a Pixel again. Why wouldn't I just buy a Pixel then? Who cares? I don't even care about specifications. Why would I buy a Nothing phone? Okay, oh my god. I have gotten here so early. It's 8:45 in the morning. I have an appointment at 8:45 to 9:15 to pick up my AirPods Pro and hopefully get my phone as well. But look at this. Just check this out. These are all people who have probably been here for a while just for Apple. No other reason to be at the mall this time in the morning. This is all just Apple. I've never been to one of these day one Apple things before. Maybe I'll talk to some of the Apple fanatics and see what they feel about the new phone. Which brings me to the haptics. Haptics on Nothing phones are pretty darn good. But why do I get the feeling that they're not implemented across the board with the Nothing Phone 3? The 2A and the 3A had haptics just applied to more things, more, volume slider, for example, up and down. I feel like, and I haven't checked this in a while, but I feel like that gave you a little haptic feedback. On this phone, it doesn't. I think at the very least, given that they have good haptics, they should implement it a little more liberally across the user interface, because that adds to the experience. If you've got it, flaunt it, right? Okay, it's actually not that bad. Look at that. That's the people up there. It's not so bad. I thought it would be absolutely packed. It's not totally packed, so that gives me hope for humanity. Which brings me to a much more important issue, and that is overheating. Now, when I got this phone, it would often heat up way too much near the top of the phone, right up there near the camera bump, or there's no bump, but near the cameras. It would heat up to the point where I had to take it out of my pocket. I mean, it didn't burn me or anything, but it was not good. And what I would have to do is switch it off, let it cool down, switch it on again, and then it will work fine. And this happened repeatedly. After the latest firmware update, this hasn't happened. But I mean, I hope it doesn't happen again. But this is something that if you are planning to buy this phone, you should check out other reviewers, see if they have something to say about this one, because this, in my opinion, is an unacceptable thing that I hope they fixed. Which brings me to the cameras. Arguably one of the most important thing in smartphones these days are the cameras. Oh, and speaking of cameras, the glyph interface. Okay, it's a cool little thing, but I almost never use it. I have used it maybe a few times now with the glyph matrix being used, as a selfie camera thing. I've used it to frame myself so I can use the rear cameras for photos for better quality selfies. That is cool, but apart from that, it's fine. It's a bit of a gimmick and it's a fun little bit, and I don't have anything against it. It's just, it's very limited in its usefulness, but it's fun. The cameras though, again, it's a mixed bag. It's not perfect. In broad daylight, you get great results. You get good camera samples, you get good color science, and you get reasonable consistency across the 3 focal lengths. All of those things are quite nice. Honestly, the cameras are not bad, but the moment the light goes down a bit, everything starts to get grainy really quick, and camera quality just diminishes so fast. What's more, shutter lag. Shutter lag is absolutely horrendous. And it's gotten better with the latest firmware update, I can tell you that much, and it's still not great. Now, shutter lag is a problem across the $500 price point in many phones in low light. So it's not just nothing, but you got to remember, this was first asking for $800, and at that price, that shutter lag was completely unacceptable. I missed so many shots, and when I did get them, they really didn't feel like they were great quality. Yeah, the cameras were not up to par. Or just the more I talk about this, the more I have used it over the past couple of months, the more I realize that this phone was not ready. In fact, it could be argued that... Yes.
Okay, show me this.
You need to see it?
Yeah.
We wanted to see my reservation, but everybody else is just walking. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, when this phone was out, it was definitely not worth $800. This phone was not a completed phone. It overheated, user interface elements were a bit inconsistent, and the camera results were really not satisfactory in low light. It's a big problem. Now, when it's come down to $500, they have solved a couple of issues, but not fully. I just don't find myself recommending this blindly. It's not a bad phone to have. It's premium feeling, you get nice photos, and the interface is good. With the Nothing OS 4.0 coming out, maybe they'll solve a lot of those issues. Maybe, I'm hoping, because I really like the design language. But until then, I can't help but say to myself, I should at least look at other options. Look at the OnePlus 13S, for example, or a previous flagship for cheaper. For example, you can get in many parts of the world an S24 Ultra now for sub $600. And there's no competition. That is the better phone. End of. Like, it's not even a question. And in that market, there's even more doubt as to whether this is a good buy, even at sub $500. So yeah, I think Nothing Phone 3, they should have cooked a little bit more. And even now, it's not a bad option, but there might be better options for you in the market. Just saying. Your hair is fire.
Thank you.
Here's just tomorrow.
8:45 to 9.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Enjoy, congrats.
Thank you. Okay, we've been going through 3, maybe 4 security checkpoints already just to get to this point. And there's another security checkpoint just to make sure that you've got the correct timing. And you guys need to see a QR code or something? There we go. Now we're in line. Honestly, the line doesn't seem that long, but it's long enough that I will question everything. I mean, that's the line.
Gonna be a bit of a waiting time, but
Sure? Okay.
we'll get you both.
So I'll just wait in line here?
Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you. Nice. Someone just came up to me and said, hey, what are you buying? I said AirPods Pro, and then later in the day I've got an iPhone, and then they said, okay, you know what? We'll just give you both right now. Just wait in line. The line is still long, but at least I don't have to come back in the evening for the iPhone. That's nice. That's good. Efficient.